Electro & Co. just dropped some absolute fire. It's literally 8:30 a.m. East Coast time right now, which means it's 5:30 a.m. back in California, where Electro & Co. is headquartered, but they still dropped this right now. That's right, an ETM RTR Lite, which is only gonna cost $21.99, which is an insane price for some of the specs that are being reported. So let's hop on the bike and discuss.
All right guys, so the RTR Lite, it's the lighter version of this bike. So we know that it's gonna be very similar to this. So let's firstly talk about some of the similarities. First off, the frame of the RTR Lite is going to be exactly the same as that of the standard RTR. So same exact frame, no changes there whatsoever. The wheelbase is also going to be exactly the same. So it's some 44.5 inches, but same exact wheelbase. It'll obviously come with a standard dirt wheel and tire set, just like this bike did. Dude, the people here are gonna complain about me in no time. As far as the seat, it's gonna be exactly the same as this one. So any seat covers that you wanna put on will be exactly the same as this. The same, somewhat uncomfortable, kind of standard style MX seat. So seat will be the same, the bars will be the same. These pegs you see down here, which are great pegs, these like MX style pegs, these will be exactly the same on the RTR Lite versus this bike. The brakes will also be the same. I obviously don't run stock brakes. I'm running the Formula E Motos. You're gonna probably want to replace the brakes anyways. That's just my opinion. But all of that will be the same. This is a closed course YouTube if you can't tell. So as far as product weight, this is gonna be 130 pounds. Well, the RTR Lite is, which is probably, I don't know, around the same weight as this bike. This one might be a little bit heavier. I think the Lite is gonna be just a little bit lighter because it has a smaller battery. Sick ride, my dude. So generally same weight. As far as suspension goes, it's good suspension. I think there is a small difference though in that it's not adjustable. I believe this suspension on this bike is adjustable, but the suspension on the RTR Lite is not, but it's still, you know, good suspension. Looking at this reminds me the display is gonna be exactly the same. No changes there. Everything is really gonna be super similar to the stock standard RTR that I have here. Main differences are just gonna be in the motor, the controller, and the battery. So for the motor, this is an 8 kilowatt motor that comes on the standard. The RTR Lite is going to have a 5 kilowatt motor, so it'll be a little bit less powerful. The controller will also be specifically tuned for it. I think it's gonna be a little bit smaller than this one, made specifically for the 5 kilowatt motor. And the biggest difference of all is gonna be the battery. So the standard RTR comes with a 72 volt 25 amp hour, which I have in the bike right now. The RTR Lite is going to come with a 60 volt 20 amp hour battery. So I think that's where a lot of your savings are gonna be on the new RTR Lite. So what does that look like as far as range and power? Well, ENC is claiming 45 mile an hour plus top speed, which is totally believable. I think it's going to be in the same realm of like where my upgraded Razor was when I had the 5 kilowatt kit. Range is going to be about 20 miles is what they're claiming. It'll be interesting once I get the bike to test that out. I got 28 miles on my 72 volt 25 amp hour. That's also absolutely ripping it. So 60 volt 20 amp hour obviously is going to be smaller. So it'll be interesting to see how the range does, but it's pushing less power, so it will be slightly more efficient. And only other thing with the battery, it's just going to come with your standard 5 amp charger. Same charger that I have right now for this bike. So they're going to be the same for all the batteries, I believe. So with this new RTR Lite coming in now at $21.99, it puts itself in a whole new bracket than just the standard RTR does, because the standard RTR is $31.99. So now it's really getting itself close to the class of like Tuttios, like the Tuttio Solilo 1. Like that's where the RTR Lite is going to be competitive against. And honestly, it doesn't even look like it's really going to be a competition. The Tuttio is $13.99 brand new, but it's only a 48 volt 20 amp hour battery. Physically, the bike is also a lot smaller, so I just don't think it's going to compete with the RTR at all. In my opinion, I just think spending $700 more on the RTR Lite now versus getting a Tuttio and then not really having as much aftermarket support, not having as cool of a looking bike, in my opinion, just won't be worth it. I think the RTR Lite lends itself a little better to a bike for more longevity, because if you get a Tuttio, you can only upgrade it so much, and there's only going to be so much aftermarket support for it, whereas with the RTR Lite, you have so many options to upgrade it. Oh my god, I just went to shift on my freaking shift lock. That's funny. I've been running the Grom too much. But you just have a ton of options in terms of upgrades long term, so if you do get bored of it, you can upgrade it, and you have all the support from Electro & Co. to do so. Plus, an RTR Lite is going to feel just like this bike, and you'll be able to do this crazy stuff which I don't think you'll be able to do on a Tuttio. Shoot over to this other little kicker here. So guys, who is this bike really for? I think there's 3 different groups of people that this bike would be good for. I think number 1 has got to be new riders. If you're new to riding, new to e-bikes, new to bikes in general, the ETM RTR Lite is going to be a great option because it's cheap, it's small, it's got pep. It'll probably have this exact same switch so you can like go from 5 kilowatts to 3 to 2 or something like that. So you can really just modulate the power on it, and it's powerful, absolutely, don't get me wrong, but it won't be quite as crazy as hopping on this with 8 kilowatts. So if you're intimidated, it's a great option that'll be a little bit less scary. Second up is budget-minded riders. Really, if you're looking to get into the scene for cheap, you want an e-bike, you want something you can wheelie, you can stunt, you can off-road, something that can do it all, but also something that doesn't completely break the bank. The ETM RTR Lite is going to be that option. It's 5 kilowatts, it'll still be plenty of power to wheelie, still be plenty of power to ride off-road. You'll be able to keep up with Surons, I promise. I had a 5 kilowatt Razor for a couple years, and that kept up just fine. But lastly, and what I think is going to be the biggest group, number 3, is going to be modders. I think that this bike is going to be super popular for modders. She's smiling. Because you're getting basically an RTR as far as the frame, the wheels, the bars, the brakes, but you're getting the same bike. And if your plan is ultimately just to upgrade it with the True Moto Noisy Cricket kit, which will be an upgraded controller, motor, and battery if you want, you don't even have to upgrade the battery, but you'll probably want to put a 72 volt in it if you go with the RTR Lite. So I think that's going to be, honestly, I feel like it's going to make more sense for most people to buy the RTR Lite, because if you want to upgrade it and mod it, you'll save $700 right off the bat, and you can just use that for Supermoto wheels or bars or the True Moto Noisy Cricket kit, any of the above. Oh my god, I'm getting this so dirty. If anything, for me guys, it's just so cool seeing companies like Electro and Co, who, you know, started in modding bikes, obviously with like the whole Razor kit, come out, make such a kick-ass bike in this RTR, and then they go and make the RTR Lite, which is going to be an even better option for a ton of people because it's so much cheaper. You're literally saving $1,000 on this bike, and you're going to get a bike with very comparable performance. But I don't know, maybe you're buying it because you got a young child that doesn't need too much power, or you're just going to upgrade it all anyways, so why waste $1,000 when you can just put that towards the True Moto kit? I'm very excited to get my hands on one of these RTR Lites, and I'm very excited to test it alongside some stock RTRs. I know my RTR has the mod motor, but Hex, Hayden, we'll test it alongside his stock RTR. So we've talked all about why the new RTR Lite is a great option, but it does beg the question, when does the standard RTR make sense?
And I think it makes sense when you've got $3K that you're willing and able to spend on a bike like this, because you're getting 8 kilowatt stock, it's more powerful, and I think it's especially good if you want to buy a bike and just not upgrade it, keep it stock. The most reliable bike is a stock bike. And this bike you can buy and you don't need to do any upgrades to it. It's dialed out of the box. Obviously you can change things to your liking, but if you have the money to spend and you don't really plan on fully upgrading this with the True Moto kit, mod motor, or anything, this is the better option because you get great power out of the box, you don't have to change anything, and it's just dialed as it is. You spend a little more up front, but then you don't have to change anything. But if you want to mod the shit out of the bike like most people do, I think the Lite is going to be the better option. You're just going to save a lot more money. You'll have $1,000 right off the bat to take and put into parts for this bike. But guys, those are my thoughts on the new ETM RTR Lite. So happy to work with a company like Electro & Co that produces sick-ass bikes. If you guys are interested in this bike or the RTR Lite, feel free to use code ConnorG at checkout to save $150 on the RTR. On the Lite, it's probably like $100 or something. But as always, thank you so much for watching the video. I will be making a video on the ETM RTR Lite once I get the bike. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. Otherwise, road to 100K, please sub. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks to all of you that are already subbed and continue to watch. But I'll catch you next time. Peace.